Ready?
Ready. I hit the record button. We are recording.
Okay, so now let me record. All right. Now we're recording, and I'm gonna have to cut, both of those
No, you're
parts out.
not. You cut nothing. You will record everything. This is the soapbox edition. Welcome. We are ethnic as see, I had to that was my bleep, okay? Right? See?
Yeah.
That was a great introduction.
Okay,
So
so yeah.
please, Ray, introduce yourself.
All right. So I am Ray DeRosa. Yeah. So I don't know. Do I say a little bit about me or?
Yeah, go ahead, because this is our first edition. Like this is so this is so impromptu. It's not even funny.
All
Yeah, you have to introduce yourself. Let the world know.
right. So yep. I am the founder of Red Digital Communications Network, a photography and communications LLC here in Connecticut. And yeah, this is my friend and colleague Gina. So Gina, just give a little about yourself.
Yes, my nickname is Gina. But my full name is Joanna Lewis, Joanna Andrade Lewis. And yeah, let's see. I do have a full-time job, and I am a full-time mom, full-time parent, full-time wife, full-time everything. And most importantly, I have this like great opportunity to speak to everyone about what's going on in the world. So, um, linking up with Ray, and now we have this whole thing in progress called Ethnic as Rock, because you know I feel like now's the time, right? So, Ray, let's just start it off. When
All
you
right.
called me, and we're already putting this in production, right? We're already talking about our ideas, doing our recording, like, which I still owe you, right? And then you just literally called me and you were like, no, we need to do this now. Like, what got you to want to do this now?
Honestly, right now with everything that's going on, here in America, it's crazy out here. On this past Saturday, it was weird. I was, just literally I went out to go get a burger and some fries, and where I went was literally like 15 minutes from my house. It took me an hour to get home because of the protests and the riots that were going on for Black Lives Matter, because of, the people that are just angry and in the streets protesting what happened for to George Floyd. And it's crazy. I was just driving and I couldn't get home because of the traffic. The cops were blocking off the roads here in Bridgeport. And, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is serious. I'm angry. You're probably angry. And a lot of people of color here in Bridgeport, there in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, pretty much all 50 states are filled with angry people of color, Black people, Hispanics, everybody. We're angry. And I was just like, oh, we can't wait till next week to start, our channel. We got to act now because
Hmm.
this is exactly what we've been talking about, putting a
Right.
voice out there for people of color, for ethnic people, because we have a lot to say. And I was like, no, we got to get started.
I know. It was just like you gave me I'll never forget, you called me and I'm in the middle of like cleaning my basement, and you're like, nope, we got to do this now, let's put this together, we're doing this now. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to do this now. And no, you're absolutely right. This whole platform that was discussed, and of course, just to bring it back a little bit, is to just talk about why we want to do this. I feel like when we had met in was it Providence College, right, back in March, like literally a week before everything just shut down, right?
Yeah.
We started talking about our ideas. We are bouncing back these ideas of like, hey, let's create a platform that is um why how is it how can we be in a society and be ethnic, like, a lot of us, some of us are mixed with many different ethnicities, and there are some that are different ethnicities that have come into America, and now they have to represent themselves here in America. That's having race issues. I mean, think about all the people that have left their countries for freedom, and they have this problem they have to absorb
Yeah.
in America. So it's like, geez, where do we get a break, right? So like, a little bit about myself. I am a first generation Cape Verdean American, so born here in my beautiful town, Brockton, Mass. And I was fortunate to have my parents teach me everything about their culture, right? And as far as the language goes, the food goes, the people, I was immersed in so much of of what I know is being Cape Verdean and how I represent myself. So, um, so it's okay when I go ahead and I can, I feel comfortable checking the box black off,
Hmm.
right? Because that's who we are in America, right? But I feel like being black, for some, there's more to it, right?
Yeah.
It just so happens that now in this country, more than ever, I should say, it's always been, right? It's just now more than ever. It's like we need to start representing. We need to get those voices out there. It doesn't have to be just African American voices. It can be Cape Verdean voices, Haitian voices, Puerto Rican voices, Guatemalan, you know, Indian, Asian. It doesn't matter. Like we in order for us to be all, we all have to represent each other, and knowing that we all have work to do, right?
Yeah.
All of
Ex-
us, we have work to do. um
Yeah.
it just so happens that now's the time. Like, this is the revolution, everybody. Like, this is what it's all about. So so Ray and we're just hoping that we can get that message out to everybody and use this platform for everybody to speak about it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, I come from a bicultural, family. My dad came to the United States in 1989 with his family, and my mom is African American. So I see, both sides of the fence. My dad is also Black, but then I have the, understanding that my mom being Black has this whole lineage of people that were, brought here as slaves. And, I understand the pain that people are feeling where this people I guess have this misconstrued understanding or idea that people today, Black people today, are angry because what happened to George Floyd or to Breonna Taylor. It's not just that. This is literally 400 years of pent up anger because this has gone unchecked or unchanged, and people are just mad. So we need to see change, and it's just not happening. So we're really angry, and when people are angry, they want to see change. They're going to act in a way that they are gonna, I guess you can say, even act out. Like I have said multiple times that when it comes to the rioting and stuff, I'm not on board with it,
Hmm.
but I can see why people are so angry that they want to break stuff and things like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I it's we start to I think and I can only I feel like a lot of times when I'm watching the media and all this stuff that's going on, like I am emotionally drained to
Yeah.
to see all of this happen, because then it makes me think like, what do I need to do? You
Hmm.
know, I can't just sit here on the sidelines
Hmm.
and just watch this happen, and then thinking that it's just gonna blow over, right? Like, I don't want people to think that this is just another one that's going to that here's another instance of police brutality, and there's this level of injustice, and then before you know it, next week everybody's like, oh, let's go back to you know our normal lives, right? I i i get why I definitely, it's justifiable anger, right?
Yeah.
We know that, we know, like, it is pent up frustration over so many years, and it's that anger that has carried on since
Mhm.
slavery, right? And it's ingrained. But that's the thing. It's been taught, right? Because we have to educate. We have to let our children know, like, this is what America was, and this is what
Mhm.
our children need to prevent from happening. And I
Exactly.
and I feel like, maybe for you, if you remember, elementary school and stuff like that, it's like, we were taught, the gray words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Mhm.
I have a dream, and and by next month, that will be an anniversary of his legacy, of his speech, because it's like we have to have that speech in our head, rolling in our minds, right? But when is it not going to become a dream?
Yeah.
When are
When
we
is
going
it
to
going to
act
be a
right? Right. It's like, when are we going to realize that this cannot be a dream to have? We can have this, but we need to let our children know that they have to understand where they came from, why this is happening, and what they need to do to change. But in order to do that, it comes from you, it comes from me, and also, um, and it comes from others who are unaware, or just ignorant, whether they blissfully want to be, or they just literally have no clue, right? I feel like one of the conversations have been brought up about is the hashtag all lives matter, right?
Yeah.
um, did you have, I have a story to tell, but do you have a story to tell about that hashtag all
Not
lives
exactly
matter?
a story, but there is a photo that I saw that I was just like, oh my god, this is so cute, but also so for real because it's a picture of a little girl, and I'll text it to you
Hmm.
because I'm just like, oh my god, this little girl is holding up a sign, and I'm just like, oh my god, she gets it,
Let me see.
and it literally says, and I sent it to you because the camera probably won't get it.
Oh, hi, camera.
Yeah,
Which one? Did you send it to
I
me?
just texted it to you,
Oh, you
but
texted it. Oh, let me see.
yeah, but I was just like this the
Right? Right? Let me see.
right,
Let me
exactly.
see if I can. Let me see. Here's, right. See?
Yeah, but it just says, oh, we said Black Lives Matter, never said only Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. We just need your help with hashtag Black Lives Matter, for Black lives are in danger. And I'm like, first of all, that's incredibly poetic. I wonder if
Yes.
she wrote that herself. I don't know. However,
Let's say yes, she did.
that is the most like real like thing I've heard,
Hmm.
because true. you know and the reason that this soapbox episode is called I'm Scared is legitimately because most likely a lot of us are scared. Black men legitimately like are scared, whether they want to admit it or not. We are scared. Learning the statistic that 1 out of 3 Black men go to prison is terrifying. I'm like, okay, let's put this in perspective. My mother has 3 sons, aka it's me and my 2 brothers. 1 out of 3 Black men go to prison.
Hmm.
That means out of my mom's 3 kids, statistically, one of us is bound to go to prison. And I'm just like, oh hell no, that ain't right. Like,
It's a
no
scary
thank you.
statistic. It's
That's
a
a
very
scary
scary.
statistic that one of us is bound to go to prison if you look at it statistically. And I'm just like, not me. But then I look at him like, okay, so which one of my brothers?
Yeah. It's like you have to
That's
look at you. It's like you're in the middle. You look at to your left and to your right. He's like, all right, who's gonna go? And it's like rock paper
exactly.
scissors.
Right. Because I'm like, that's not me. But
Right.
then it's like, which one of my brothers?
Right.
That's a scary thing to know. And it's just like, I'm scared.
Right. It's
And
true.
there's way too many statistics that we have to fight against. And then on top of it
Yeah.
all, when I'm driving, if I see a cop car, I legitimately tense up. I'm like, okay, am I safe? Like, why do I have to feel so apprehensive?
Right. And you shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. You shouldn't. And I feel this. Yeah, I'm not a black man. My husband is,
Yeah.
and I just, and I think of certain certain times where he's traveling to,
Mhm.
certain states, certain cities that, are, that, that are, I don't know, I don't want to get all political and stuff, but they have their political views,
Mhm.
and there, there are some cities out in America that are, how should I say, very open about their feelings about certain races. So I always think about my husband going to those cities, and thinking, you know what, I'm not happy about that. Like, I don't know, like, I know my husband is well aware, and he knows what's going on. He definitely is, I have to say, a man that definitely is well aware of his surroundings. And but then again, he even says it. He's like, look what happened to George, like, yeah, he goes to a grocery store, like a little corner market, and before you know it, here goes 8 minutes and 46 seconds of his life gone. Right? It took that long for him to go. And so my husband had mentioned that. He's like, that it could be any of us, so yeah, it's scary, you know how black men have been a target, you know
Mhm.
they just been the target, and it's just like, come on, let's take a break right now, like, seriously. So I guess with this going on right now, this should be the one that's just says enough's enough. let's
Exa and,
let's get this going.
I I even with all this going on, because social media is like the the freaking
Don't
horn
even
of
get
the
this.
world.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Okay, so,
have you not had to grab your phone and just like chuck it to the wall because you're just like,
yeah,
oh my God, I can't
a
even.
lot of people are like, okay, you got to decompress, like just put it away. So like so far this morning, the only person I've talked to is you, which granted it's what 9:52 in the morning, so we're not even like looking
Right.
at it because who are we talking to?
But you agree that doing this in the morning is better, because when you get
It is.
drowned
Yeah.
in all the social media, yeah,
Yeah,
right. Do you actually think we're gonna get up
do
and
we
we're like,
even have any energy? So, but the thing is, okay, so when, like, what was it, a couple months ago, what was his name, Giovanni, was it Andrade, I don't
oh,
know.
no, Rodriguez, yeah.
Well, yeah, Rodriguez
Hmm.
in Portugal,
Yeah.
same thing. This was in a whole nother country, but
Yes.
it's the same thing.
Yes, and
I'm just
I'm glad you brought him up, because he should not be forgotten.
he should
Yes,
not be.
right. And it's actually, his family is actually very, like, they're close friends, of family that I've known for years, of course, with the Rodriguez family, from Norwich, Connecticut,
Mhm.
as well as in Brockton and Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And he also has family in Germany. So, um, and it's, we all got together when we heard about this. And, at first,
Mhm.
I didn't know Giovanni personally, but to know my family that have known him, and very close, like, cousins, like, um my that's my it's like my cousin's father's godson, pretty much, that. And when we found out about it, even though, yes, there's that distance from us, but it still
Mhm.
hurt, because here's a Cape Verdean student that went to
Yeah.
Portugal. He's a
Mhm.
student, and he just went out, and here's a bunch of, you know uh just dumb, lack for a better word, dumbasses, that decided, let me just go ahead and jump this kid. you
Mhm.
know it's like, and I'm glad they did the protest about that.
Exactly.
I know it didn't, it's because it was part of our community, the Cape Verdean community. His word did get out, and
Yeah.
there was, to be honest, I've never seen that ever in my life, to know that here in America, of everything that's, things that happened in Portugal, it came all the way in America, and believe me, we were just like, nope, nope, that's wrong,
Everyone,
and we
once
spoke out.
again, was angry.
Right, and look at now with George Floyd, everybody in the world knows now.
Did you see yesterday? There was a gigantic march because of George Floyd in Holland.
Yeah.
you know, so again, but
Shout out to the Netherlands.
yeah, Holanda. But
Hmm.
this is what I'm saying, because it's not just America.
Right.
This is a global pandemic. It's a global pandemic.
Racism is a global pandemic. Everybody, I don't know if there's a hashtag. Can we add that? This
Yeah,
is a
that needs to
global
be a hashtag.
pandemic.
Racism is a global pandemic. Coronavirus has
Yeah.
nothing on racism,
Miss
because
Rona,
racism
Miss
is
Rona, sit
something.
down for a second. Take a back seat. Take a back seat, Miss Rona,
Yeah,
because
because coronavirus has been around for a couple months. It's been here since what, December. But
yeah,
racism has been here for the last 400 years.
yeah, right, right. So
It's been
let,
around
let's
for
let's fix
400
this.
years,
Yeah, you know
and
what's
there is
crazy?
no vaccine.
Right. See, that's what I was just about to say. At least with coronavirus, there will be a vaccine. Maybe not right now, but there will be. Right. We
Mhm.
we have we have so many intelligent people out in this world right now that are working tirelessly, endlessly to put a vaccine out there to help all of humanity, right? Let's do the same for racism.
Yeah.
Let's create what we can say is the vaccine to get people to understand that this we can resolve this in some way. Now, don't get me wrong, like here in America, with everything that happened in the civil rights movement, we've come a long way, but we have so much work to do.
Oh yeah.
So much work to do. And I feel like that's sometimes when we feel like, oh, we got somewhere. Oh, okay, we're good, right?
Hmm.
And then this happens, right? It's like we have to keep our foot on the gas for this, right?
Hmm.
That's how I look at it. It's we have to keep our foot on the gas, because the minute we take our foot off the gas, then it happens again. So America, let's keep putting that out there right now, is listen, for everybody who is not a black person in America, listen, right? Just listen. Understand why everybody is angry, right? And two, speak for us, right? Because I don't know if you've seen it on social media, there are a whole lot of black people that are like, you know what? I am tired.
Hmm.
I've been saying this forever. Nobody wants to listen.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to speak about it. Nobody wants to do stuff. Oh, but then this happens. Oh, so now you want me to go ahead and talk to all the white people in my office about what's going on in America? No, no. You guys know that's been going on for a while. I don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
don't want to. It's like there's only so much, but I get why there are black people that don't want to speak up, because they've already spoken.
Exactly.
They've spoken enough. So now we need everybody else to speak up about black lives, right? So
Mm.
we got to do our part. And I know, speaking of that, right, of speaking up and watching everything and listening, you had another picture that I felt like that was um pretty emotional picture there, because it was a child, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
doing that whole, see no evil, speak no evil,
Hmm.
hear no evil, right?
Yeah.
um
Hold on one second. I
yeah,
can pull it up.
yeah. So like I feel like that picture does speak volume to what's going on today in America, because we we have a duty in a way, like that picture there tells us that we can't keep letting our children not know what's going on.
Mm.
So we have to speak. We have to take that image out, and it should be replaced with an image of a child just like jumping up and down, screaming from the rooftops, saying, "Hey, Black Lives Matter." A police officer should not do that to any person, right? Because we could get into that now, right? You know, we can't be quiet about police brutality, right? And I'm going to throw this out there. I'm not speaking on this, just this white man doing that to this black person. It's not just that.
Oh no.
It's about how the police across America need to understand that that is wrong, right? It's wrong. I don't care how anybody's, oh, well, he was right. George Floyd, rumor has it that he was writing either a bad check or it was a counterfeit dollar bill. Really?
Mhm.
That doesn't matter. He didn't deserve to die, right? Under the hand of the police, right? That should not happen.
Yeah.
So we need to let everybody know. And I told my son when we went to the protest yesterday, I told him, that's wrong, Raylan. That's wrong. My black son, 11 years old, I had to let him know why we were going to that protest. And I told him, I said, this is the reason why we went to the protest, because we need to let the police know that it's wrong to kill a person. Police should not kill people that way. No,
Hmm.
no, period. I mean, I can only speak to the 11-year-old in that level, but whereas
Yeah.
to our audience, who's watching, to understand that the police are here to protect and serve us, right?
Yeah.
So we have that duty to tell them and to let them know,
Hmm.
listen, you have to, if your job is to protect us and you feel like there's some level of threat from your own community that you are vowed to protect and serve, then you need to speak up and you need to let us know. And we need to come together. You are not above the law,
Exactly.
right? You know, the police officers are not above the law. The sheriff of your town or for your city is not above the law, because you know why? We voted you there, right?
Hmm.
So now it's our responsibility, and this is probably a message that I want everybody to hear. You want to make a voice instead of throwing rocks at the window? Throw those ballots
Yeah.
in your voting, right?
Hmm.
And it starts at the local government, right? The government does not control my feelings, my thoughts, and my actions. Because if I don't want that police officer who wants to bring in bad apples into his department, oh, but best believe I will question that. And I feel like everybody needs to question that. And I feel like a lot of people feel like it's they're scared to open up about it, or they might not have enough knowledge as far as what they need to do for voting and stuff. And I think that's where it goes into the level of education, not necessarily from, you know, um, the level of education for, Black America, right? Especially the 18 to 24-year-olds, right? 18, you can vote at 18, you have that power. They need
Hmm.
to know how to use that. And I feel like there's not enough education out there for that. We're so quick to say, go vote, go vote, go vote. But we need to let them know what they're voting for and who
Yeah.
they're voting for, right?
Hmm.
So now back to you.
Yeah. So, no, the pictures that you were talking about
Hmm.
are here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey, hey. Yeah.
But yeah, so there are, I personally not to, to, I guess toot my own horn, but I do find them, I guess, pretty powerful because they do speak to what I'm not going to really say teach children because they're something that they kind of are forced to learn, really is they shut things out and they hold things in, you know, for this, hit one here. Children, when they don't like something, they don't want to hear it. If it's something that scares them, they don't want to hear it. They'll cover their ears. They will shut it out.
Hmm.
And that's something that is often what, you'll hear. Like it's something that you'll see it on TV. Like if a kid says, or if a parent is yelling at a kid, they'll cover their ears and be like, "Oh, I don't want to hear it." That's almost natural, or it is natural. And even here, when a child is scared, again, they will cover their eyes because they don't want to see it. But the one that I think is the most important is definitely this is one that we do teach our children is when something isn't right, we're society almost teaches us to not speak out against it. And I think that's the biggest issue, and it's not necessarily something that we're told, but it's a cycle. And I think it's a cycle that needs to be broken. when something isn't right, speak up and speak out. You know, that is something that we need to be told now, and we need to, tell it to the adults, tell it to the teenagers, my generation, but definitely teach the children, because right now everybody is in the streets, protesting, rioting, but realistically that's not going to change very, very much. But if we teach, the younger generation to speak out when something isn't right, speak their minds,
Hmm.
and speak their minds in a professional and respectful way, I think that's going to actually make a world of difference, because that, I think, is what's holding us back, is we don't actually speak up and speak out when we need to. We hold things in, and then when we actually do speak up and speak out, it comes out like word vomit. And word vomit is a problem.
Oh, geez. I feel like it's like you get so frustrated that you just like start saying everything. You're like,
Exactly. You look like, the character from The Exorcist.
it's like I want to spin my head around.
Yes.
Like it's, yeah, it's awful. It's like, no, I totally understand. It's the truth. It's the truth.
So I think, that's what we need to do, is teach our children correctly.
Yes.
And comes, a lot of the issues that we're facing are systematic. The system, society teaches kids, to act a certain way, to believe this, believe that. And breaking that stuff down is not easy, because again, this is something that's been around for generations. But if there's one thing that I've learned, is every generation slowly starts to, break down walls,
Hmm.
but we do it almost you know subconsciously. If we consciously start breaking down walls, I think it'll go much faster and with a lot less of an issue.
I love that you said that, subconsciously breaking down walls. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like that. Definitely. It makes perfect sense. And I feel like that's where people should not be afraid to speak about this, right? So I'd have to say I was fortunate at my job that they actually gave a platform um, for us to speak about what's been going on, because it's just so hard to not, right? It's so hard to not. You cannot, I don't care where you are right now and what job you have. Yeah, it's, you can't ignore what's going on, right? So, my job was fortunate to give us that platform to speak and just speak our minds about everything. And um, it got to the point where it's like, my gosh, like as soon as I opened my mouth, it was like, I felt like there was this level of suppression that I've had for just being at work and me opening up. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I was like, wow, first off, I don't believe all this just came out of my mouth. And second, I was like, oh my God, am I going to lose my job for saying this? And then, yeah, because I was just like, man, I'm angry. It's like, but I think it was, I really appreciate, having to speak up and being able to say what I said, and letting those people hear me, right? Listen to what I had to say, right? Without judgment, right? Without looking down and, using your picture as an example of the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It's like they didn't cover their ears, right? They didn't cover their eyes. They didn't cover their mouth. They listened, right? And that was important for me to speak, and others like me to speak up, and just let them know, like, this is what we feel every day. And yeah, it's so important. And then from, going, into detail with, our children, it's like, we got to let them know this is where it's at, guys. We're about to hand off this world to you. We
Yeah.
can't, we don't want to hand off this world to our children, all, lack for a better word. It's like we gotta do better. We have
Yeah.
to, as a society, we have to do better. And now's the time. Listen, guys, this we gotta fix. And I'm not. Oh gosh, geez, Ray, you had to start this. You literally had to start this. Like I said, I could be on my soapbox all day. I can, but I won't. I won't. But yeah, I feel like Yeah, now's the time more than ever. And I'm very, you know, the silver lining to all of this, right, is because I was able to show my son, you know, this is a moment that I'm happy to share with him, to let him know that, you know, as he gets older, um, you know, having a son with ASD. So for those for people who don't know, do not know, ASD is, you know, my child's on the autism spectrum disorder. You know, he, you know, with the level of Asperger's that he has, you know, emotionally, it's tough for him, right? So he doesn't show the emotion that I show, right? In some ways, I wish I did have that level like he does. Like he's just like, yeah, I know you're not supposed to kill anybody. I know it's wrong. Yeah, I know that, mom. Yeah, I know you're not supposed to do that. But then you talk to him, it's like, no, but do you understand? Like, you know, I'm like very emotional. And he's just like, yeah, mom, I know. Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it. Like, why are you telling me this? Like, that's obvious. Like, he is so literal. And it's like, geez, I wish I could have your brain right. I wish I could have your emotion right now. Like,
Mm,
honestly, like he is so not in this level of emotion like his dad and I are, right? He's just like, I already know it's wrong. Why are you telling me this? Like,
mhm.
I'm like, you know what, son? I wish I wish it was that simple. And I'm like, I have to, and I feel like I have to work harder with him because of
Mhm.
that, because I want him to feel that emotion. I want him to know that it's okay to be upset, right? He gets upset knowing that he has homework. So I want you to get upset just like this, right? The way
Mhm.
you are upset with doing homework, I want you to continue to be upset, right? Like I want you to feel like it's okay to have that feeling that it's wrong, right? The police should not kill people, but he doesn't have that feeling. He's like, I already know you're not supposed to do that. Mom, that's wrong. That's wrong, mom, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we definitely have a responsibility, and I could definitely speak as a mother. Um, you know, I'm not going to I'm not gonna let this be, you know, a thing to look over. It's gonna be
Mhm.
every day, you know, like, hey, Braylon, you know, this is what the world is, you know, what are we gonna do next? Right?
Yeah.
So that might be the question for everybody right now is what do you want to do next? Now that every pretty much the majority of every city in America has rioted. You know, we've we've yelled, we've done everything. So, you know, Ray, what's next? What's next? What do you think what's next?
I think that's, the golden question is what is next? Because, that isn't really up to us. We've been pissed. We've, said how we feel. We've asked for change. We've demanded change. Now, it's kind of up to those who we've put in the places of power. Because at the end of the day, those who are in our government, taking the seats in the Senate and in Congress, all of that, I think they've honestly forgotten that the whole reason that they're sitting in their seats on their high horses and stuff is because we said, okay, Governor so and so or Senator so and so, I think represent me. I think you're a good person who, sees the things the way that I see things. So I'm going to, vote for you.
Hmm.
So now that I've voted for you and you sit there, can you do X, Y, and Z for me? So now that you know how I feel, what are you going to do? So the question isn't necessarily for me or for you, Gina. It's for them. What are you going to do? And I think that's, honestly, where we can even end, this first episode of the soapbox, because that question isn't for us, it's for them. What's
Right.
next? What are you guys gonna do?
I agree. I think that is awesome to end our soapbox with a
Yeah.
question. So, hey, let's plug in the, you know, our email address, because I feel like
Yeah.
when we get everybody to respond, and you know what, talk about anything, like let us know. We want to
Yeah.
hear what you have to say, because we want to help you. We want to, you know, whatever question you may have, whether if it has to do with, you know, police brutality, systemic racism, your job, my job, your as a parent, everything that's going on.
Hmm.
Listen, you know, email us, right? So, oh my gosh, what's our email address again?
ethnicaf@gmail.com.
But ethnic is spelled differently, so we got to spell that
It
out.
is ethnic with a K, not with a C. And I will be spelling it out so you guys can,
Yes.
actually see how it is.
Right, right, because that was going to be the it's like, oh, we'll just spell it regularly, and it's like, no, it didn't go through. Yes,
You
so we'll
gotta
definitely
go.
right, we'll definitely put the email out there for you guys so you guys can see that. And we want you all, right? It doesn't matter who you are. The one thing that we'll definitely leave off is, we love everybody, right? Like
Yeah.
I this is the country that I know,
Yep.
and we're both fortunate to know the country that our ancestors are from, right? Back in
We
Cabo
are.
Verde. So, we've been there. So, um, to see how far we have come
Hmm.
and the legacy that we bring to America, being Cape Verdean, like that's awesome, right? So, I want to continue to be proud of who I am, and I want to hear everybody's voice, right? Like, how proud
Yeah.
are you and what you want to do? And yeah, what's next?
Yep.
Because for a fact we're about to get on our soapbox again, right? Because you
Yep.
know, and we want to share your voice. We want you on the soapbox too, right? So email us your thoughts, your opinions, um, so we can speak out for you, right? We're here for you. So that's our program for the show. So
At the end of the day, we're all ethnic. So there you are.
we'll do our best to try to bleep as much, but I think we should. I'm sorry, were we not supposed to censor some of? No, we can't. I forget it. You know what?